Does it ever feel like no matter what you do, your trading just isn't working? Maybe you were successful not that long ago, but now you feel like all you do is lose. Have you ever felt like this? I'm Pepper with Godly Trading, and I've got great news for you. I'm going to show you the 3 steps that I took to overcome this right now, starting with the bedrock principle that turned my trading around. And that is step number 1, build a foundation of trust in your trading system for yourself. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 24, "Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall." I love that phrase, "and great was its fall," because it described me for so long, and it describes so many traders today. If you don't take the time to lay a proper foundation under your trading, how are you going to withstand the losses that happen to everybody? This is a critical step in your trading journey that gets overlooked all too often. It's not your fault. There are so many supposed gurus out there on social media who point to their system and how easy it is, but they never show you the whole truth about it. The biggest culprits these days are the ones that say, "Stop doing it yourself, just follow my easy trade signals." But they never disclose why or how they're creating those signals. And that leaves you hanging in the wind when their signals or their system starts to fail. You're left with nothing to stand on because you can never know if it's their system that's failing or them. Remember, anyone who tells you not to figure it out on your own doesn't have your best interest at heart. This is why you must test it for yourself, no matter how you got that system. Whether you bought it or borrowed it or copied it or developed it for yourself, you must know how it performs over time. If you don't, you will never fully trust it. And that lack of trust opens the door to a trader's biggest enemy: doubt. Doubt is one of the silent killers of traders, and it is always lurking in the corner of your mind, waiting to creep in when you're feeling defeated and your defenses are down. Doubt will whisper in your ear that you don't know what you're doing, that it's all a scam, that, hey, psst, it's time to try something new. As strong as it seems, doubt has a fatal weakness. It cannot stand up to faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." There's no need to try something new because you have built faith in your system. And the way we develop this faith, this evidence, is that we fully understand our strategy. We test it thoroughly. We don't take anyone else's word for it. We try it and test it and tweak it and test it some more. And we keep doing this until we know this strategy inside and out. We build our trading on the solid rock of faith so that when the wind and the waves beat against us, we can withstand them. Withstanding those waves and taking those beatings can take its toll on you if you aren't fully prepared. It often takes more than just knowing we can endure. We must have the strength to keep enduring. That strength comes from our purpose, which is step number 2, keeping our focus on why we are doing this. So if faith is your foundation, then purpose is your fuel. It's what enables you to keep putting one foot in front of the other each day when you're going through a losing period. And those losing periods are tough to endure. Well, let's just go ahead and say out loud what we're all thinking. Losing sucks. Even when you know that it's going to plan, losing sucks. When you are stuck in that losing streak, you just want it to be over. But when it comes to a losing streak in trading, the only way out is through. And that means you must keep walking through that dark tunnel towards the light at the end. Unfortunately, we have a great biblical example of how to do this. King David knew all about going through dark and difficult times. Yet he said in Psalm 23 that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. David was comforted by the knowledge that he wasn't alone, but that didn't prevent him from having to walk through the valley. He kept going because he knew his purpose, just as you know yours. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's Proverbs 22:13, and that is our mission statement, our goal, and our journey all rolled into one. Knowing that this path that you are on leads to financial freedom for your family will give you the energy to endure what you're going through. That's why we must keep on keeping on, because the purpose is absolutely worth the price. And that purpose is always easier to achieve when it is shared. Ecclesiastes 4:9 and 10 puts it perfectly. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. So what is King David's son Solomon saying here? Don't do this alone. He says earlier in Proverbs 27, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Over the New Testament, Paul puts it this way in Galatians: bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. You weren't meant to go through this alone. Can you? Yeah. Should you? No. Remember that feeling I mentioned at the beginning of the video? What do you do when everything is going to plan and you're doing it for the right reasons, but you still feel like you just want to quit? That's when you turn to the traders around you and ask for help. And I'll be honest, the first two steps were so much easier for me than this one. I could rely on my own strength for them. But being honest enough with another trader to say, I need help, it took a level of honesty that I didn't have for quite some time. But when you surround yourself with other like-minded traders and allow yourself to open up, you will always find someone who has been there before. And best of all, there's going to be someone there going through something that you've been through before. I can't even describe the feeling of satisfaction you get when you help another trader for the first time. No trading win will ever compare to that feeling. If you are looking for a community to join, just reply community down in the comments and I'll send you an invitation to the Godly Trading Community over on Facebook. It's totally free to join. It's a Facebook group, and it's full of traders willing to walk this journey with you and bring you out of that valley a stronger, more consistent trader. And if you want to know more about building consistency, watch this video next, where we show you that achieving it is actually closer than you might think. Well, thank you all for being here, and I'll see you next time.